Have you ever imagined that women performed ritual dances without clothing in ancient Babylon during the construction of a colossal 2,448-meter tower? An architectural feat 3 times taller than the Burj Khalifa, currently considered the tallest skyscraper on the planet. These are extraordinary revelations about the Tower of Babel that will completely change your perspective on this impossible structure. For decades, researchers deemed the real existence of this structure impractical until modern experiments proved its total viability using techniques available in that historical period. Specialists gathered the same clay from ancient Mesopotamia, manufactured bricks identical to those mentioned in the sacred scriptures, and subjected them to testing using hydraulic equipment. A conventional brick shattered under just 400 kilograms of pressure, allowing only for constructions up to 150 meters tall. However, they took a different approach, following the Bible's exact instructions that said the bricks should be thoroughly baked. The bricks were fired at 800 degrees Celsius for 12 consecutive hours. The result was astonishing. The material withstood 3,000 kilograms of pressure. With this durability, they calculated the possibility of building structures up to 3 kilometers high. The Tower of Babel, standing at 2,148 meters, was entirely within the realm of technical feasibility. That is the equivalent of stacking 3 Burj Khalifas vertically, and the most fascinating part is that this feat was accomplished without modern cranes, metal structures, or reinforced concrete. Just mud bricks, intense heat, and a natural adhesive discovered in Babylonian soil. Now imagine coordinating 100,000 individuals working in harmony on a project of such magnitude. 43 years, longer than many people work in their entire lives, was exactly how long it took to build the Tower of Babel. But what was truly extraordinary wasn't the duration. It was how they synchronized 100,000 laborers collaborating daily for 4 straight decades. Workers were divided into groups of 1,000, each led by a specific overseer. They worked in 3 alternating shifts, so while some rested, others transported materials. The construction never stopped, not even on Sabbaths or religious festivals. It was a human machine operating non-stop, 24 hours a day. The logistics were brutal. Each worker needed 3 meals daily, meaning 300,000 meals had to be prepared every day. Bakers, cooks, and assistants worked solely to feed the builders. Water was drawn from the Euphrates River, transported in ceramic vessels on the backs of animals and slaves. Fatalities were constant, falls from great heights, being crushed by materials, exhaustion from desert heat. It is estimated that 10 people died every single day during the entire construction. More than 150,000 deaths over 43 years. Each level of the tower was literally built over human blood and sacrifice. The Tower of Babel wasn't just a pile of bricks. It was a sophisticated structure with hidden compartments, passages, and staircases forming a vertical labyrinth. Each of the 7 levels had a specific function, and the activities inside were as impressive as the tower's height. The base measured 90 meters on each side, almost a full city block. The first level, 50 meters tall, housed colossal storage rooms containing provisions, water, bricks, and bitumen. The second level was residential, with dormitories for master builders and their families. Yes, people lived inside the tower during its construction. From the 3rd to the 5th floors were workshops, blacksmiths forging tools, carpenters preparing molds, potters making containers. The 6th floor held the greatest mystery, religious chambers where women performed rituals to bless the construction. If you're impressed by these revelations about the Tower of Babel, leave a like now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos about the mysteries of antiquity. In the comments, tell me what surprised you the most so far: the brick technology, the organization of 100,000 workers, or the secret rituals. Your participation is very important to us. Comment right now. Archaeologists discovered descriptions of these rituals on ancient tablets. The women danced naked around the sacred fire, begging for divine protection so the tower could reach the heavens. The seventh and final level was an observatory, where priests studied the stars and communicated with deities. The inner walls were coated in polished bitumen, creating shiny black surfaces that reflected torchlight. But how did they lift heavy materials to such impossible heights without modern elevators? Waking up at 4 a.m., eating stale bread with onions, climbing hundreds of meters carrying 15-kilogram bricks. This was the brutal routine of the Tower of Babel chess workers. A lifestyle that claimed lives daily, but there were always volunteers. Why? Because they were paid in silver. A tower laborer earned more in 1 month than a farmer made in an entire year. Work started before sunrise to avoid the desert heat. Each man carried 2 bricks at a time, climbing spiral ramps around the tower with no guardrails or safety equipment. One wrong step meant certain death. The bodies of the fallen were buried in the tower's very foundation, as it was believed their spirits would help support the structure. Their pulley system was revolutionary, using logs as wheels and palm fiber ropes. For heavier loads, 50 men pulled in sync, directed by a foreman beating a drum. When the rhythm sped up, they knew someone important was ascending. When it stopped abruptly, someone had fallen. At night, they slept in tents surrounding the construction. The air reeked of sweat, bitumen, and death. But there was something worse than exhaustion or danger. The fear of the day when no one could communicate anymore. It was an ordinary morning in the 46th year of construction. The workers ascended as usual, carrying bricks and bitumen. Suddenly, something inexplicable happened. A mason shouted an instruction to his assistant. The assistant looked confused. He didn't understand a word. It was as if the master spoke a foreign language. Within minutes, chaos overtook the worksite. No one understood anyone. Instructions turned into incomprehensible noise. Master builders gestured frantically, trying to communicate. Workers dropped tools in terror. Some thought they had gone deaf. Others believed they were cursed. Panic spread instantly. A group on the 6th floor did not understand the warning about a loose beam. 5 men were crushed to death. On the ground floor, carriers dropped ropes holding tons of materials. The fall killed dozens. In mere hours, centuries of technical knowledge turned to Babel, total confusion. The consequences were devastating. Families couldn't recognize each other's speech. Husbands didn't understand wives. Parents couldn't communicate with their children. Groups began forming based on similar languages. Within 3 days, from 100,000 workers, fewer than 1,000 remained. The rest fled in caravans, scattering in all directions. The greatest construction in human history was abandoned overnight. But the most intriguing part is that we have physical evidence that it really happened. The official version claims they sought to reach the heavens out of pride, but cuneiform documents reveal more complex motivations. The trauma of the flood, just 130 years prior, still haunted the survivors. Nimrod, Noah's grandson, had lost dozens of relatives to the waters. His obsession wasn't just about power, it was about survival. "We will never be caught off guard again," says a tablet discovered in 1922. The tower would serve as a refuge in case of another flood. At 2,400 meters high, not even the greatest imaginable deluge could reach its top. There was another, even more ambitious purpose. The tower would be a cosmic antenna. At the top, priests would receive divine messages about future catastrophes. Like a privileged insider who knows when to sell before a crash, they would have advanced knowledge of droughts, plagues, invasions. Information is power, and absolute power was the ultimate goal. There was also the practical aspect of visibility. A 2,400-meter structure could be seen from anywhere in Mesopotamia. Lost caravans would use it for orientation. Enemy armies would think twice before attacking a civilization capable of such a feat. It was the ultimate power display of antiquity, but building high had a price, and that price would be paid with something more valuable than gold or silver. If you believe God had a greater plan when he confused the languages, comment now. God is sovereign. Showing our faith in the comments matters. The greatest enigma of the Tower of Babel is not how it was built, but how it disappeared. A 2,500-meter tall structure with a 90-meter base doesn't just vanish, but that's exactly what happened. Where there should be the largest rubble pile in history, there is only emptiness. There are three main theories. First, catastrophic earthquake. Mesopotamia lies on active tectonic plates. A magnitude 9 tremor could have collapsed the tower, but earthquakes leave rubble, massive debris piles, and there is no geological record of such a quake from that time. Second theory, gradual dismantling. After the confusion of tongues, locals may have stolen the bricks to build other cities. That makes sense. High-quality bricks were valuable. But 600 million bricks would supply construction for centuries. Archaeologists should find those bricks all over the region. They don't. Third theory, the most controversial, divine disintegration. Some ancient texts mention fire from the sky and the tower turning to dust in a single night. Scientifically impossible, perhaps, but it's the only explanation that accounts for the complete lack of evidence, as if the matter simply ceased to exist. What we do know is that something extraordinary happened, and modern expeditions are still searching for answers. On the Tower of Babel's top floor, 2,400 meters high, was a chamber few knew existed. Not even the builders were allowed in, only high priests and their virgin priestesses. What occurred inside was Babylon's most closely guarded secret. Recently deciphered cuneiform texts revealed the unthinkable. They were trying to open a portal, not metaphorically, but literally. They believed that at the right altitude, with the correct rituals, they could tear the veil between worlds. Where heaven touches earth, the writing said, the gods walk among men. The top of the tower was a cosmic machine, a 30-meter wide circle of polished obsidian etched with astronomical symbols. At its center, a solid gold altar where virgins danced naked under the full moon. Their menstrual blood was collected and mixed with liquid mercury to create a magic mirror that revealed other worlds. Several priestesses went insane. Reports mention women who saw too much and never spoke coherently again. One, before throwing herself from the tower, shouted, "They are coming! The stars have eyes!" Her body was never found. Witnesses swore she dissolved into light before hitting the ground. The confusion of languages may not have been a divine punishment. Perhaps they did open the portal and something came through. What do you think really happened? Was it divine wrath, or did something pass through the gate? The builders of the Tower of Babel discovered something humanity took millennia to rediscover. It wasn't black magic or alien knowledge, it was pure chemistry, starting with what looked like ordinary mud from the Euphrates River. First, they molded bricks using special clay, not just any clay, but a mixture found only in that region. Then came the secret. Instead of sun-drying like common houses, they fired the bricks in giant kilns. Temperatures of 800 degrees Celsius transformed the clay's molecular structure. The brick became almost stone, but the real trick was the glue. They used natural bitumen, a tar-like petroleum that oozed from black wells. When heated, the bitumen seeped into the brick pores, forming a bond stronger than modern cement. Archaeologists have found Babel bricks still stuck together after 4,000 years, unable to separate them even with hammers. Each brick weighed 15 kilograms and measured 30 by 30 by 10 centimeters. To build the entire tower, 600 million bricks were needed. It was an industrial production, 50,000 bricks per day, 365 days a year. Kilns operated non-stop, consuming entire forests as fuel. But all this technology would be useless without solving one crucial problem: how to raise 15-kilogram bricks 2 kilometers into the sky. And if you were impressed by the engineering of the Tower of Babel, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell. Until the next video, God bless you.